Today I'm with Dr. Ajidahun Olusina.
This whole media advocacy, I don't know why people get triggered easily. They set me up with Olamide. Let me ask you a question. When last did you check your blood pressure? Hypertension does not respect your age. I've had patients, 20 years, that have had a stroke. If you have a kidney disease in Nigeria now, it will bring you from a millionaire to a cobonaire.
I saw one of your posts that people take 3 crowns, banana, boosting their sexual life.
Does it work? You would think you are coming, but you are going. A lot of bitter, they've been banned. Last year, NAFDAC found aphrodisiac inside. Aphrodisiac, they are drugs. The problem is the abuse. Someone has high blood pressure, takes that, blood pressure goes up. While he's having sex, he dies on the girl. Everybody will say, Mago killed. But it's not Mago. Then you will see a news. 40-year-old man dies while having a marathon sex. Apart from aphrodisiac, a lot of them have substances that are illegal.
We don't know what people that take Jacoma want.
They want to have good sex.
I don't think anybody takes Jacoma because they want to have good sex. No.
So all these agbo should not be used as a remedy for ulcer.
So Ekomi has a video that went viral about unripe banana.
I think anyone that is serious about their health should not be taking advice from someone like that.
Hello. You keep coming back to watch our video and that means the world to us. But here is the thing. 96.6% of you that come back here every week to watch us haven't yet hit the subscribe button. And that leaves us with just 3.4% of people. We pour our hearts into this. We try to create something special. We try to make sure every story, every moment is being created in a very important way that tells a story about ourselves the way we want you to be told. And please, by just hitting the subscribe button, you're doing us a huge favor. And on that note, I can make a promise to you that this show is only going to get better. The guests are only going to improve, and the overall quality is going to also improve by just doing one thing for me. As you come back to watch, just hit the subscribe button and share to a friend to also subscribe. It means the world to us as you do that. And hey, if there's something you need to tell us that we are not doing, just drop a comment or just drop a DM. We are always open. And please, we'll be looking forward to seeing you back every week. Thank you. And today I'm with one of the brightest voices we have in the medical field in Nigeria. You know other person than Dr. Ajidahun Olusina. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm alright. Welcome to Talks About You.
Pleasure to be here today.
I like us to start from the beginning, like always, because that's what we like to do on Talks About You.
Sure.
What are the things I need to understand, like the fundamentals I need to understand about the person that is sitting down with me today?
All right. I'm a doctor, which people know, and I think a lot of people think I'm controversial. Instablog will say, because when they want to capture me, they usually put that controversial. I don't know why they say that, but I think they use my name for clickbait when they want to get, especially if you say something. So I'm a doctor. I'm also, I think what Nigerians call a health influencer, but I don't like that word. I think I'll just like to call it like a media strategist. And I also do health correspondence for a couple of media houses in Nigeria. I also work with organizations to help Nigerians, Africans at large to live healthier life. And what do I do again? Okay, I'm also a CEO of a health tech startup because Africa has got a lot of problems and we have to solve our problems. So I think, and I also, let me say I'm a social media warrior because I like to bank on social media, something like that.
Okay, in the middle of all that, when I was reading up about you went to University of Ibadan.
Oh yes, I did.
What was life like before University of Ibadan? Like, let's take it back to the very beginning.
Okay, so life before University of Ibadan, I think I was this very shy, introverted guy. People don't believe because when people meet me in real life, they cannot place my online personality with myself because before University of Ibadan, I was this shy, introverted guy who was just living life one step at a time. I am from a nuclear family, and let me just say I was naive, did not know about life. I'm sure maybe as we talk about it, because I never wanted to study medicine. It was my father that just said, don't worry, you don't know what you're doing. So I think that was just life. It was just this confused guy, confused Nigerian who was just living life one step at a time. And I think that's like
all of our story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Ibadan, Yes, because I owe all my schooling was
In Ibadan.
Yes.
All your schools were in Ibadan. Secondary school,
Yes, secondary school, Shalom Christian College, Ibadan, everything, Ibadan.
primary school,
Shalom Christian Nori and Primary School, Ibadan.
yeah, then University of Ibadan.
University of Ibadan. And I like to say first and the best because we Ibadan people are very, very proud. So shout out to every Ibadan people who are going to be watching this first and the best.
Okay. You said something. You said it was your father that you knew, like, okay, it was medicine. So when did medicine sink for you as a person? Like, when did you start knowing, like, oh, this is my reality?
Okay, let me start from how I even chose the medicine. So back then, I'd watched this movie called Resident Evil. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to discover virus, all those virus things. So then I put in my JAM form, biochemistry. I'm not saying biochemistry is not a good course. I was in boarding house, and my father came for visiting day. That's what it used to be called. And they said, well, let me see your JAM form. Biochemistry said, but boy, are you in your normal senses? He just called their mother, please, this boy is confused. Put medicine. They were like, I want to discover virus. Young man. I wanted to do what they were doing.
Because it felt cool to you.
It felt super cool. And then it got changed to medicine. And I was like, okay, well, father knows best. Because I always believe, even as stubborn as I was then, if your parents said this. So medicine started sinking for me. Well, my 100 level days was not very good. I was still finding it difficult. Like, okay, this is medicine. But as time went on, down the line, 200, I started to absorb and love medicine. And before I graduated, I spent 7 years in medical school, I think I got to love medicine. And then I said, now this is what I really want to do.
Yeah, I like it. Like, it's another thing for us to say this is what we want to do, or this is what we are willing to do with our life. And it's another thing for us to actually become that thing. So I want you to talk me through becoming Dr. Shino. Like, you have a very big online presence now. We see what you do in terms of bringing your own perspective to the medical field in Nigeria and having a voice. So how do you become that? That's what I'm looking into. So, becoming
this whole media advocacy. I think I started as a medical student. Then I used to be active on Instagram. I don't really use Instagram now. So then I'll just maybe...
Because you have Twitter fingers now.
So then maybe I've been taught something about malaria, HIV, sickle cell. I'll make like some simple, easy to know. I'll just make like... I can't remember. There's a thing on Instagram where you can type. Then I'll type, put screen grabs. And I was always doing that. And it was when I graduated, I became a doctor. I had beard. I said, let me look for a name that is catchy. Because then I was Ajidahun Olusina. This is my normal name. Someone just said, why not just say bearded Dr. Shino? So I kept doing that little by little. Now, the first break I had, after I finished, and I think one of my stories, so I used to write like medical stories just to make things interesting. Then one magazine, Tush magazine, they reached out to me that, wow, we've been following you for a while.
Tush, is that not accurate or something?
No, TUSH.
TUSH. I know
the
Tush.
editor was Anselm. I don't know if
I know Tush magazine. Yeah.
Yes. So then Tush magazine reached out to me that, we really love these stories you're doing. So I was doing something called the Chronicles of a Bearded Ibadan House Officer. I was just putting my life in a very funny way that it was relatable. So I didn't say that. People really like the media advocacy. I saw that there was a lot of misunderstanding. People did not understand. So I felt, okay, there's a gap. And then I transcended. From then, I got active on Twitter, I think like 2019, 2020. So someone was like, bro, I think you need to carry this thing to Twitter because they even want to have more conversations. Well, I then joined. I saw, okay. And being someone that is practicing in Nigeria, day to day, seeing young people die. I attend to people, and I felt that people don't know this because on social media it's so rosy. Everyone is living the perfect La Vida Loca life. Let me now transcend. Then I then brought that. So that was the part from understanding this is the problem and then translating. And I know that Nigerians get bored easily. So if you're going to make something interesting, you need to make it more relatable. So I then kind of use this fun words, put it up together. Well, a few drags here and there. And then I'm sure we'll talk about the first drag I had and then launched me into the whole media. So that was it for me.
So you said something. You said you've been practicing. How long have you been practicing?
So I've been practicing this is my 8th year. Eighth year.
That's interesting for somebody that come on Twitter and drag us like and drag with
they
us.
drag me most times.
Yeah, but you drag back to now.
Well,
Let's be sincere. Like,
yeah,
you drag
sure.
back to.
Sometimes that's how it works. You need to clap back because I mean I'm a human being, so I have emotions. So I have to give you a taste of what you're giving me.
It's fair. Like, I mean, I used to say like life is not about how well you can punch; it's about how well you can take. So
I totally
anybody that
agree.
comes to drag you should be ready to take too.
Of
So
course now. Dragging
but
not the
my
key.
question is, you've been practicing for 8 years,
Yes.
and you've been doing your social media thing for like 5 now, because you said 2019,
Yeah,
2020.
yeah, I go really active. Let's say like 2020.
So how are you able to balance both? Because I know we all know medicine is very challenging itself, like mentally, physically, just to, I mean, see people go through things on a daily basis and still be able to have some fun on Twitter sometimes. How do you balance that out?
So I'll be honest, it has not been so easy, but I have an amazing team. You can see Dr. David Adebayo that was here with me this morning. He's also on my team. He helps me, works with me. And I have a team. I have time, okay, this is this, because I'm in residency training in internal medicine. I know this is my time for work, and because I also work with a couple of brands, okay, I have this is the time for this. So it's more like I have a team that helps me with my scheduling, and I'm able to try to find a work-life balance, because with all of these, I always say, make sure you're sleeping well, make sure this is this. So I also try to imbibe that in my life, and having people around to also help me. I think it's I've been able to manage my time.
Yeah, you have a team and you've been able to blend everything up, and that was 2020. You said that was when you focused on it. So I used to say, like on previous episode, I've said something. I said we're only as good as our team. That's the one me I strongly believe. You're only as good as your team. And I feel that's why the best players play for the best teams when they are in form. So at what point did you think is necessary for you to blend media plus medicine and have a team?
Okay, because like I said, as I started initially, it was something small, just like I loved it. But when I saw engagements, when I saw demands, when I saw the virality, when I saw international, multinational organizations were reaching out to me. So I knew that I need to rebrand, because I was not going to be able to handle all of that. And that was the beginning. I had to like look and think outside the box. So because the first, I think major something I got was I think within 2020, when I did something with the United Nations I think that was the time about there was something about COVID there. I think that was the peak.
Yeah, that was peak
know
COVID.
that people didn't want the vaccine, so they needed to reach out to I think that was like one of the first one. Then I also then did something with Budget Nigeria and Tracker Nigeria to talk about the vaccine. So those were the first. So I noticed that if that means I'm getting visible, people were just seeing me, and I needed to be strategic, have a team to make everything interesting and all of that. Yeah,
this time you are becoming visible. You said something about your first dragging. I think this is very important. All this company, did they reach out before or after your first dragging?
Honestly, I think it was after. So there's nothing like negative publicity.
Yeah, there's nothing like we're having a conversation earlier.
Yeah,
there's nothing like
there was
negative
actually
publicity.
after. Yes.
So I think this is the point where we talk about your first dragging. So what do you think was your really big first dragging on Twitter? What led to that? Was it intentional in any way too?
Okay, my first dragging on Twitter, it was not intentional. It was just like I said, I did not understand social media. So I think my first dragging was, it was not even something medical, honestly. It was not medical. Okay, so I was just joking. The thing is, like I said, I did not understand social media. And I don't know why people get triggered easily. So I was saying that, don't laugh. So I think I was
try not to.
I have not met, how did it go? I was like, I've not met Nigerians that can pronounce words like, I don't know how I put it, but I know I was saying that we Nigerians, like, there are some words we should use more. Like, rather say Versace, call it Versace, Givenchy, just
Call it
something
Givenchy,
simple.
yeah.
And people were like, people just started insulting me that all these Nigerians that don't even have anything, some people that are wearing it are not come. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? I'm just an opinion. But it was just, I just felt social media, just say your mind. But then, and I noticed that, you need to say your mind with tact. Yes, so that was my first drag. It was not even something medical, and it was everywhere. I saw myself on Insta. I don't know why I don't know. I really want to
You
know
are-
about how to do that Insta blog.
you
'Cause
be
that person, I
customer,
have
abi?
beef with that person.
You be customer.
I swear.
It's not, but it's not a bad thing being a customer now. I mean, I think it has helped
No,
you.
yeah, sometimes they change your words because I'm still going to come with it. For example, when I had a back and forth with Olamide, they kind of set me up with Olamide's fans. I'm sure we'll still talk about that later. And the same one with Odumodu, they set me up with their headlines because the headline read something different, but I'm sure we'll still talk about it as we go on.
Okay, so after the drag happened, you were able to just focus it and build your brand. Like what we're talking about behind camera this morning. Like branding is very important. I don't care what happens around you. Like a lot of negativity can be going on around you. As long as you stick to your guts that this is what I want to do with my brand. So you're able to stick with medicine and say, okay, this is what I want to do with medicine. So what are you going to think is your first major contribution? Is it you saying Agbo people should have
You are going to set me up for dragging.
No.
More people, they've been dragging me for the past 1 week. They've been swearing for me.
No.
Me.
I mean, I saw a lot of it yesterday night on Twitter, and I find the opinion very fascinating. I'm not going to lie, because I feel like there are some things. I'm sure there are people that share the same opinion with you,
Yeah,
but they can't say it. They can't say it out
I'll
loud.
chest all the dragging. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I find it very fascinating when I was reading yesterday. But my question is not even that. I want us to talk about that because I think it's very beneficial for us, and that's why I like what I do with podcasting. I'm able to sit down here and talk about things I have no real knowledge about with people that have real knowledge, and I take away from it. It adds to my own knowledge base. And that's why I'm trying to make sure like people that watch this and see this can take something away from me too. So what do you think is going to be your first major contribution to the medical social media space in Nigeria?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So this is how I view what I do. First, I usually like to start with preventive. Now, why do I do preventive? Like I said, I work in the public sector. I work in the private sector. It's a lot of problems Nigerians come with is because Nigerians don't err on the side of prevention, rather they want to cure. I'll give you an example. Now, let me ask you a question. When last did you check your blood pressure? Be honest with me. I know it's your podcast, but be honest.
I'm too young to be checking blood pressures now.
See that statement? I'm too young. But do you know that high blood pressure can affect anybody?
Yeah,
A
definitely.
baby can have hypertension.
Yes.
A 10-year-old boy can have hypertension. That's it. Now, but you feel you are too young to check your blood pressure.
Because I do sports.
That's the thing. It does not mean.
Okay.
The fact you do sport does not mean.
I'm just telling you my excuses.
Yeah.
You are the
I'm saying
expert.
Exactly. There are no excuses. So the first thing I try and do is preventive. Now, I'll educate people like you and the masses that hypertension does not high blood pressure does not respect your age. You should check your blood pressure. Same thing with diseases like diabetes. I mean, I've had patients 24 years, 20 years, I've had a stroke. Now, the first thing I start with is prevention, because you need to know, because Nigeria, as it is now, if you have some conditions, you are going to spend money. If you have a kidney disease in Nigeria now, I'm telling you, it will bring you from a millionaire to a cobonaire, because you are practically going to
I saw you.
Sell everything you have. You're going to crowdfund. It's crazy because dialysis is not free in Nigeria, so it ruins a lot. But there are a lot of things you can actually do to prevent that. So I start from prevention. Now, the second one I try to also do is what I call lifestyle modification. You know this. What can you do better? Some of you, for example, Agbo say stop taking Agbo. Some people take some things they don't know are dangerous. You understand? All of these things in there. Then I also do what I call jumping on trends. For example, there are going to be some things that will go viral for the wrong reason. I know all of these people they call banger boys will just use it for clout. But within that clout, I then use that to educate people. For example, yesterday people were dragging people put a picture of Justin Bieber and whiskey together. They said Justin Bieber's face was looking somehow. But did you know these boys did not research that Justin Bieber was diagnosed with a medical condition that caused paralysis of his face. Now, to them, it's just, Justin Bieber's face, his face is wobbly. But to me, it's more than that. So I also then do on that. Then what I also do is, with collaboration, I also organize spaces. We talk about this. So those are the ways I go around engaging medical, health, and the media.
Yeah. Since we're talking about the way you go around engaging people for the medical thing, you are saying something about. I saw one of your posts when I was doing my research yesterday. You were talking about sexual myths that people take 3 crowns, banana, and alomo, and
Okay.
think is going to be boosting their sexual life. Like, what do I need to understand about that? I'm not just asking that. Like,
Then I said
I
that
mean,
you would think you are coming, but you are going.
you are going, yeah.
Yeah, that
I'm not really asking the question about the coming and going part. I just want to understand, what do I need to understand about that particular myth sexually?
what was that? Does it work, or is that the question?
Yes, I just want to understand
Okay.
that,
Now, what's the rationale behind people that take banana, alomo, and all of that?
because I feel it's a cultural belief. Like, we all grew up seeing people doing it, and we just felt like it's cool.
Okay, now, a lot of those bitters, they've been banned. Last year, there was a consignment of all of these bitters that NAFDAC took, and they found aphrodisiac inside. Drugs like...
And for the sake of people that are going to watch this, that are
Yes.
not as knowledgeable as me and you, when you say aphrodisiac, I understand what aphrodisiac means.
drugs to help your sexual performance.
Yeah.
So what many of all of these bitters do, they add those things.
What is wrong about taking aphrodisiac first? Let's start from there before we get to the alomo and the 3 crowns of this world.
Okay. Now, what is wrong with taking aphrodisiac? The problem is the abuse. These aphrodisiac, they are drugs. Now, they have effect. When you're having sex, your blood pressure goes up.
I don't know, because I'm
Okay,
actually
now,
in the middle
when
of
you're
it.
having sex,
Okay.
your blood pressure goes up.
Okay.
When you take some of these aphrodisiacs, because of the way they work, so let's talk about how does a man have erection. Now, when the lady turns off her clothes or whatever turns you on, blood will go to your penis. Your penis then gets hard. Now, that is the way those drugs work. Many of them, what they do is they will relax the blood vessels in the penis. So blood will go to the penis, then the penis will be hard. But the same way they are doing that, they are increasing your blood pressure. Now, someone has high blood pressure, then says, this girl is my fair kulale I want to do. Takes that. Blood pressure goes up. While he's having sex, he dies on the girl. Everybody will say, Magun killed. But it's not Magun. It is that aphrodisiac that kills the person. So those drugs are not... Now, there are reasons we actually prescribe some of those drugs. And I generally will say, if you're going to take any of these drugs, let it be under the supervision of your doctor. Your doctor will tell you what to do. There are some reasons, there are some heart problems that if you can't use some of these drugs. But people don't even know they have this heart problem. And then they'll be having sex. Then you'll see a news. 40-year-old man dies while having a marathon sex. That's it. So that's why they are very dangerous. So there isn't, it's not like I'm saying people should not use aphrodisiac, but I'm saying that Nigerians need to cultivate this habit of talk to your doctor. Don't just put your health in your hands, because a lot of people have died. And like I said, many of these bitters, apart from aphrodisiac, a lot of them have substances that are illegal. You understand? And some of them could even have tramadol, and all of these things that people use for sex. And people take them, they get high, they get addicted to it. That's another problem. And it also has dangers. So rather than take banana plus milk plus alomo plus those things and jekomo, fakpataya, babeje, all of we know the names. We just talk to your doctor that you are not able to perform in the other room, and we know what to do. That's why we've gone to this.
Dr. Shino, I think I will have to slow down. I'll have to slow you down there.
Okay.
You know what to do, but you don't know what people that take Jekomo want. Yeah.
No, we know what they want. They want to have good sex.
Not just good sex. They want to impress. Like, I know. We are in this. We are in this game. Like, they want to impress. Like,
Yeah, they want to impress.
I don't think anybody takes Giacomo because they want to have good sex. No. If you are taking Giacomo, you want to.
Yeah.
You should know, Doctor Shino.
Yes, I know. But
So how are you going to help me as a doctor? Like, okay, let's come back to what you do. How are you going to help me as a doctor to impress if I come and meet you that
Good.
I don't want to take my Giacomo,
Exactly.
but Dr. Shino,
Exactly.
I'm very impressed.
Good.
What do you do for me?
Now, that means the person has what we call erectile dysfunction. The penis is not standing.
No, stand Penny now. Okay.
Is it,
Okay. Okay.
Wait, yes, it's still part of it.
Okay,
So
yeah.
there are two points of erectile dysfunction. So one is some people can get the erection, some people cannot keep the erection. So there are two parts. Some people can get the erection, some people cannot get the erection. Some people get the erection, they cannot keep it. So what I will do as a doctor is I will ask you some questions, because a lot of times we can actually figure out what is causing this problem, and if we treat it, you'll get fine. For example, if you're smoking can affect your erection. Now you are smoking and you've not addressed that. You probably be having erection problem. Alcohol is going to give you erection problems. So if you're a chronic person taking a lot of alcohol,
that was another question I was looking to ask you about,
Yes.
since we're discussing the topic of Giacomo. And I think there's another myth that's surrounding sex, not just Giacomo. People take multimenes yolale, like people think they drink NSA and get erection, like
well,
it's normal on
alcohol
Twitter.
give you erection. I think what alcohol does is it disinhibits you and allows you to exhibit your sexual fantasies. Alcohol will not just give you erection like that.
So you think? Do you think like it's one of
Except you add
it's
something
one
to it. Though.
it's one of the biggest myths we have in Nigeria. Do you think boys really drinks NSC and get erection?
I don't think so.
Because I don't drink, but I see it all the time.
Every man that says they drink and they say, trust me, ask them. They probably added something to that thing. Probably they've added some pills and stuff.
To the NSC.
Yes, it's not going to be ordinary NSC that gave them. If truly it gave them that erection, it's not the NSC.
But even Naira said it now.
Forget Naira. All of these people just sing rubbish just for money. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So that's a total myth on his own. So
yes, it's a myth. But like I said, because we're also trying to educate people. If you're having problems with your erection, there are 1,001 things. High blood pressure can give you erection problem. Diabetes can give you erection problem. If the level of blood fats in your blood is high, stress, especially Lagosians. You wake up 4 a.m. and stress can even affect your erections. So you might just need some form of psychotherapy, and John Thomas is back up.
So you feel like we don't need any of these things to impress?
Trust me, if people can make priority of seeing a doctor first, I'm telling you, many people won't need all of these things, because we'll treat what is causing this erection problem, and then we're going to have like a good one.
Another work he did in the space that has to do with sex and the knowledge of we trying to improve our health and not kill ourselves because we're trying to satisfy somebody or we're trying to have a good time is oral sex. He said there's a mouth condom.
You know, they dragged me this week, last week, 2 weeks, because I just said, if you want to lick plate, have you seen a mouth condom before? Don't lie.
Funny thing is,
do you know?
Funny thing is that question you asked, if you are even actually helping me out. I don't even, until yesterday when I started reading, preparing for this, maybe 3 days ago when I started preparing for this, I don't even know that it's possible for you to buy in Nigeria. I know there's a mouth condom.
Exactly.
I don't know that they are like you can easily get it. Yes. I don't know. Like,
okay, so now let me correct that notion. There are actually mouth condoms, what we also call oral dams. And people that give quick BJ or quickly giving BJ, there are some viruses and bacteria that can actually spread that way. Gonorrhea can spread that way.
Through your mouth.
Syphilis, yes. Herpes can spread that way. Chlamydia, all these things. And that's why we say, even there's something, HPV, human papilloma virus, there's a big campaign on that one going on now. This last month was cervical cancer month. When you want to have sex, if you want to give oral jobs, you can actually use this mouth condom. And I put it there that you can actually even buy it. You can even order it on Jumia. How you know that people will drag you? If you go and check the bookmarks on that tweet, you'll be surprised, which means that people got the word that, there's something called mouth condoms. Yeah.
You're very vocal about safe sex and health and everything. I just want to understand why. Why do you think that is very important in our generation, like this time?
Okay, thank you. I think it's very important because the human is a sexual being, and this is the 21st century where we're not shy to talk about sex. But the problem is that people are shy, and because they are shy, when they have sexual problems, they go to meet the wrong people. And for someone like me that I've seen what the STDs can do to you, I've seen people become suicidal because of their sexual problems. And the society tells us, we as men, we should bottle up. We have problems. We're not meant to show. We're not meant to allow the public know that, you understand. So that birthed my startup. Because what I noticed that men don't want to talk and all of that. And we felt that we need to create an avenue, a safe space where people can, have solutions to many of these sexual problems. So So that was what birthed that.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of things for us to explore in this conversation. But since it's a story about you, a story about self, I just think we should take a moment and say, what's your startup all about? Like,
Okay, it's called Priv Health. I co-founded it with my partner. His name is Joseph Anya, and from the name Priv, it's like private. Because, like I said, what birthed it, I can't remember. I think back then it was in 2022 or thereabout. I made the content, and a lot of men had questions. So we then thought, I and my co-founder thought, let us have a kind of startup where we can address this. So we then have this. It's a digital solution where people, men, we have a men's community. Currently, our men's community has over like 10,000 men. They are able to get consultations with men. Sexual problem, ED, 2 minutes men, what they call premature ejaculation, diseases, and also we have consultation. We have sessions, webinars for men, and some products that can help men. So that was what, and we called it Pride because we felt private men will be more geared towards us, and that's why we created that.
How can I join Priv Live if I want to?
I would just Google Priv Health, www.privehealth.co. You see it.
Just sign up.
Well, you can join our communities. So we have communities on Telegram, on WhatsApp, and all of that. The website just functions more for like booking consultations. So, doctor, maybe you need to talk to a doctor about something. You just book a session there. You're linked up, and yeah. But
is it free to get consultation?
Is there anything that is free in Nigeria?
No. I'm just saying.
It's not.
We
free,
just want people.
It's very much subsidized and factual, and it's very confidential, and but it's not free.
I just want people to understand the benefit of joining, because I feel like you make a lot of posts that show that you care about men, and that's very interesting to see. Because I was still reading while I was doing my reading for my whole section, and I still come across something that is very disturbing. I think the total population of the world is made up of 50% of men, and 80% of suicide in the world is made up of men. That's very disturbing to read. That was very disturbing for me to read, because there's a lot of pressure that comes on us as men on a day-to-day basis, and we find different ways to react to that. So for us to know that there's somebody out here working tirelessly to make sure men are in the right position, thank you for doing what you do. It's important. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, it means the world to us. And so you also made a post where you are trying to care for men. You were talking about, so this is going to take us back to our conversation, because I just want you to talk about what Priv men do and how people can get on. So you were talking about men having G-spots, but very shy to acknowledge it. Okay. And when I saw that, I was like, do I? Do I?
Hey.
The first thing that came to my mind was, do I? Do I?
Okay. So now, if you see that post, what I quoted was, there was this trend going on.
No, me, I'm just asking you personally this morning. Do I? Do I?
I need to be careful the way I say it, because so people will not say they are looking for their G-spot.
Okay.
Now, what I was trying to say is that it's controversial. I put down there it's controversial, but there appears to be an area just around that anal region in men that some men have said is pleasurable, and it's been nicknamed G-spot.
For men?
Male G-spot, yes. Just like the way, it's like I said, it's controversial. Wow. I'm not saying it exists, but some people, because I sampled the opinions, and some men that...
Did you sample the opinion with your colleagues or like that, doctors?
No, I sampled the opinion with the public, people that engage in like anal sex.
Okay.
And some men that their wife give them anal sex said, yeah, there's really something like that. And
men that their wife give them or their partner.
Okay, now the thing is, you need to go through the anus for you to get to that G-spot. And there are some women that are very exploring, that don't mind exploring with their.
But I don't think the female G-spot is the same place.
That one is through the vagina. But men, since we don't have a vagina, that's the opening. So I'm not saying it exists, because you will set me up. You're going to set me up again.
This is not a setup. I was watching a podcast and somebody mentioned something like that.
Yes.
That's the only way. I think she's one of the biggest sexual therapist in the world.
There's really something like that.
I don't really recall that.
Nigerians are quite homophobic, so they don't want to hear something like that. But for men that have exploded... I
used to say it, I don't think Nigerians are quite homophobic. I think our problem is we don't like to accept multiple truths.
But you know the funny thing, that day, many of the men that were insulting me, they were like, they messaged me privately that, doctor, please, how can I locate my G-spot safely? It was very funny. I was like, I don't understand. You are dragging me and insulting me. And I said, doctor, now
that's what I'm saying.
So you are insulting me, but you really want to know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think we need to be able to take multiple truths in this country. We need to be able to understand, like, two truths can actually coexist.
Exactly. People are like, I cover my G-spot with the name of Jesus. Like, what are you covering? I mean,
as long as you don't, as long as you don't expose yourself to that type of thing, there's no problem. Because what they said in the podcast I was listening to the other day was, there's no coming back for you as a man if you expose yourself to this type of thing.
What do you mean by not coming back? If you
allow them,
pleasurable that
if you allow them to trigger your G-spots now,
you want it more.
Yes, you want it.
Many of the people that actually answered there to said it's more pleasurable than even penetrative sex for them. Honestly, I'm telling you. But, like, let's just leave that.
I mean, let's just proceed. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things for us to talk about. I mean, but that's quite educative coming from you. So, they've always been looking at what you do. Like, it's a story about yourself. You try to carry the Nigerian medical sector. You try to be a voice. You try to carry it on your back. But it has always come under a lot of scrutiny. Like, people used to complain about the state of our healthcare. But as a doctor, what is one thing that I think we need to get right for other things to follow?
Okay, I won't come here to lie to you that our health sector is on the brink of total collapse. Trust me, I work in the health sector. There's no need to lie about it, and it's so sad. You know, every time I come online, you see them drag Luth, you see them drag UCH, all of this thing is so sad. So, but what do we need to do? I think first is that we need to face the reality of what is really happening. Now, no shades. For the president of Nigeria not to be able to use the healthcare system and be going abroad for checkup, it says something about if you trust your own health sector, you will use it. So that's the first thing. We need to know that there's a problem. Now, secondly is that one big thing about the Nigerian health sector is the lack of funding. You want to renovate a vice president's, what is it called? Budget 20-something billion. How many hospitals, how many federal government hospitals get such allocation? Now, you go to some hospitals now, if you have a stroke now, if someone does not say you, if someone has an accident, the first thing to do is want to look at the brain. Do you know that there are a lot of hospitals that don't even have something called CT scan? Some people have to travel. For example, you might even have to travel to another state to do that imaging. And it's not something that they cannot sponsor. So we need more funding. Another thing is that there's a jackpot phenomenon going. I'm sure the doctor you spoke to last week, if you call him like, Oga, there you kill. Because of the poor state of the healthcare system, people are also leaving.
Are you staying, Dr. Shino?
Well, I don't want to say that live, but I'm a believer that things will get better. Those that will fix the system. I mean, people like myself need to still believe in the system to fix the system.
Yeah.
Whether I'm going to leave, well, I don't know what the future holds, but I'm optimistic, and that's why I'm here. So those are the things. If we can, the biggest problem is the funding. If we can have more funding, if we can have more materials, you go to some hospitals, people don't have gloves. People want to get blood. They are running up and down. I mean, one of the biggest federal center in Nigeria now is trending. Go online. They've not had light for 90 days. What's the implication?
What hospital is that?
University College Hospital, Ibadan.
UCH.
They've been protesting. What's the implication of not having light?
UCH used to be the best in...
It used to be.
It used to be the best in Africa at the time.
It's glory, yes. But right now, see where we are. And that's meant to be the number one in Nigeria, and now they've not had life for 90 days.
Okay, since we're talking about these problems that imminent and is around money, I think I used to say this: we have a tradition in this country that people don't like to talk about money, and I don't get it. I see it all the time because I think all of us do what we do because of money. So why are we always shying away from the conversation of money? Like, even as a kid growing up, I think most people in their homes, like, the only time we talk about money is the lack of it, and I think we really need to change that culture. We need to be speaking about money.
I agree.
It's not only when we are lacking of it, that's when we start talking about it. We need to talk about it. We need to plan for it. So how much do you think is going to on an average to run a hospital from your experience? How
You mean
much do you think?
government hospital or private?
Just one functioning. If you want to have a proper functioning hospital in
Okay, if
Nigeria.
I'm to equip a hospital, it's going to be the government hospital in the public sector because that's the one for the masses. I think billions of naira, honestly, because a lot of them are in a bad shape. I can't give exact figures, but if you, I feel if you throw in like 10 billion, which is I think chicken change to the government to a government hospital, and you hold people responsible because sometimes money is released and people embezzle this money, and you put in rules. I'm sure that you're going to have transformation. Trust me.
And I feel one of the problems I look at when I look at our society is I just feel like we have a lack of maintenance culture. Just on the government side, even private businesses. There are businesses that I knew like 5 years ago when I started my own personal farming business. I have a poultry business, and we are 5 years in run this year.
Oh, that's good.
People have a lack of
Yeah.
maintenance culture,
And
not just the government.
I
We just
agree.
blame the government.
I agree.
So I think that's one of the things we need to look at. If you say 10 billion, we need to look at the
I
maintenance.
just gave.
Yeah.
the
I'm just
figure,
saying, yeah, that's a figure. Like it's not like we sat down, we put a lot of process to it. We're just having a conversation. So if that's the figure, what do you think the cost of maintaining one is going to be?
Well, cost of maintaining that maybe 10% of that annually, you will, because like you said, people have a lackadaisical attitude to government properties. It's not my own, it's government. If it spoils, they will fix it. So yes, so I think if we are able to set up all of that, hold people responsible. Because if you don't hold people responsible, people will do rubbish and get away. But if you hold people responsible, make scapegoats, many things are not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a very interesting conversations with you this morning. I've learned about some things that I don't know. And I mean, I know, but hearing from you, I'll take away from this and go and reflect on it. So I think there's one thing that came to my attention again, because we're talking about health. If there's another major health myth that you see on the Nigerian space, what do you think is going to be? Because I have one in mind. I've seen people talk a lot about ulcer, like you only get ulcer from not sleeping or not eating.
Okay.
Is that true?
Well, I'll come to that. But if there's one, I mean, is smoking and alcohol. You know, the media has made smoking like it's a big boy thing. If you're taking cannabis, that means you're the big boy. You're happening.
Yes.
You go to club, but alcohol and smoking are two of the biggest killers of the 21st century. Google cancers, like more than 50% of cancers, you're going to see smoking there. But when Whiskey, Davido, when they release songs, they are blazing. So everybody will be like, it's super cool. But it's not the flex people think it is. You know, I need some time. People should go to hospitals and actually go to bed, psychiatry ward, because many of these things also, they've been linked to what you call madness, something called schizophrenia. But people don't know all of this. They just feel, as a big boy, or you're fuming canna, or I don't know what they call it, canna, colos, all those things they do. But they are very. So that's one
I know
myth.
the name of sativa and
Cannabis sativa.
cannabis and sativa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why are you pretending as if you don't know the?
No, I don't
you're
smoke.
saying-
I don't.
I'm not saying you still.
I don't smoke.
But
I
the way
don't
you're saying, I'm just saying.
No.
Well, that's the biggest myth. So you're not a big boy. Well, it's a myth to think the person someone is a big boy because they are popping bottles. Your liver is going to suffer at the end of the day. Alcohol is going to damage your liver, it will damage your kidneys, it will damage your heart, it will damage your soul. So why will you have more money and kill yourself because you're a big boy? So I think that's the myth. One, alcohol and smoking. It's something that if you see people doing it, popping it, they don't understand the realities of life. And I think if you abuse alcohol, you're actually taking yourself closer to death than being in the land of the living. So it's not a big flex.
I think alcohol sometimes causes ulcer. What I was talking about.
Well, yes, alcohol causes a lot of things. I could give you 50 things right off me now that alcohol can cause. Trust me, you understand. Yeah, and it can also worsen ulcers. That's why if someone, the one of ulcer, which I say is like I usually tell people, you cannot say you have ulcer until you do something called endoscopy. Now, why is that important? A lot of Nigerians, any small pain, ulcer. No.
But there's a lot of, I think, and I genuinely believe they misdiagnose people in Nigeria.
Well, I don't want to play the devil's advocate. Yeah, I'm not saying doctors might not make mistake, but I feel like, for example, okay, let me first answer that ulcer one before I go to the malaria and typhoid one. Okay. The ulcer one is, first is a lot of Nigerians believe once you have this pain, something is ulcer. And there are a lot of things that can look like ulcer that are not ulcer. Even a cancer can do that. And that's why I usually will tell people, go for something called an endoscopy. It's like a camera. They put the camera through your stomach and you will see the ulcer. That is it. That's the only way you can know you have ulcer. So if you've not done that endoscopy, you cannot say you have ulcer.
So how much does it cost to take to do that? Because we don't speak about money. You know, Nigerians
Yeah,
have
I'll
a way,
give figures.
Nigerians have a way of thinking things are very expensive when they are not very expensive too. Because we don't talk about money. We just don't have a culture where we talk about money.
Give or take, in a government hospital, I think an endoscopy should cost like 50 to 70,000 naira.
And that's going to save a lot of people a lot of money that they're
Exactly.
going to waste.
But people will say,
but people are not knowledgeable enough to know these things.
and I'm happy we're having these conversations because there are a lot of people who tell you about. Now, take 10 people that have had that they say they have ulcer. How many of you have done endoscopy? 9 of them have not done the endoscopy. So where did you get your
because
ulcer
when they hear endoscopy is very complex and intricate, so they will think it's maybe 1.2 million until you tell them maybe it's like 70,000. Yeah, I'm just telling you that's the way we are wired. We don't talk about money and we assume in our head there is a lot of money all the time. I think we should start talking about money, about things that are important to us, like health, like cost implication of things. And since we're on the subject of cost implication of things, ulcer. No, I want us to mention something about ulcer because there's this popular video that keeps going around that people think, oh, you can actually treat your ulcer from taking. You tweeted about it now from taking what was that thing?
Agbo or which one?
Yeah, from taking agbo.
No, it's there are a lot of things that can cause ulcer, and all these agbo, all those things, they should not be used as a remedy for an ulcer. People should just normalize. You know, I've had someone that they were treating ulcer for like 7 years. Now, when the so-called ulcer was not getting good again, then they went to the hospital. They had to do an endoscopy. Just guess what they found?
What did they find?
It was a cancer. All this while, obviously the person died. All this while, this so-called ulcer they felt they were treating, it was a cancer. So that's why endoscopy
is very important.
So all these people that are saying ulcer, please, if you're going to save up to get an endoscopy, it's cheap.
Yes.
In government hospital. Well, I'm sorry, it's fairly cheap because let's be honest, 50 to 70K is not like it's so cheap. But
yeah, right now
compared to what you get in a private hospital, and it will save you a lot of money. You know what you have. The doctor
you just have
treats.
to be have to be.
Imagine someone treating ulcer for 10 years.
So on ripe banana, don't take care of ulcer.
No, why would you take unripe banana?
Fekomi has a video that went viral about unripe banana taking care of ulcer.
I don't really know much about that Fekomi guy. I don't know if he's a doctor.
I think he's a
what's he? Is he a biochemist?
He's a modern herbal specialist. Yeah.
Well, I think anyone that is serious about their health should not be taking advice from someone like that. Honestly, because
unripe banana don't work.
Why on earth do you want to take an unripe banana for you? You understand? It's just that people don't. You see, the problem I've noticed with Africans is not Africans, Nigerians is that when there are things that are proven, you feel the white man is trying to get to you. You talk about vaccines, they will tell you Bill Gates wants to kill you. You talk about things. It doesn't work that way. If the white world wants to kill you, there are ways to kill you. You understand? But I don't understand why anyone would tell you and you can Google this thing.
I just think it's a lack of knowledge, and I think
exactly.
And I think that's
in the same way. I think Ola of Lagos blocked me. What the Ola of Lagos? I like to mention him because I mean,
which of the Ola?
There's this the one that does is plenty. That the guy.
Okay.
Now what happened? He was promoting. You know the way he does. You
will love it.
Yeah, you will love it. So he was promoting this herbal flusher. I said this one for ulcer, it go clear the ulcer. This one you have vaginal infection, it go clear them. This one you get and I went something like that, and obviously you just said no. This I think he blocked me. You understand? But the truth, and he had to delete it. What you blocked me is okay, but the people you are trying to scam by doing that.
So do you okay? That brings me to a very interesting thing. I think we've not touched about. Do you think is relating to this your agbo people dragging you? Do you think there's nothing like gbogbo nishe? There's an herbal mixture that take care of everything.
That thing is useless and annoying. There's no single drug that.
But we've been hearing that since when we were
You've been hearing that because they are making money. They are scamming you. They are using celebrities the same way they used. I can't remember this Nollywood actress, Slimming T. She wore gown. Then she now drank something and she now reduced in size. They will use them because they are influencing the product. And they know Nigerians. You will not read, you will not ask questions, and they will sell them to you. And another thing is, okay, fine, when you then have problems, why don't you go to those Gbogbo Nishe? Why do you go meet the doctor in the hospital? Go back to them and then give you another Gbogbo Nishe to clear. So it does not work. They're all scams. Penis enlargement, pussy tightener, slimming tea, detoxifying tea, Although they are all, if you see any celebrity, they will tell you after you smoke, detoxify your lungs. It's all scam. They will use celebrities that have followers to promote it. You will buy it, and you're just wasting your money.
So you truly believe, like medically, there's medical backup that these things don't work?
Yes, and I usually say something. I usually say something that I'm not saying herbs don't have a place in modern medicine, because a lot of drugs are gotten from this herb. But until we get to a point whereby you can say this is what is in this drug,
proven.
This is the dose. Don't use it if you have this. It can cause this. It can, because that's what, if you take a drug now, what will you see? Use this for 3 days. Don't use it with this. This is what is inside. There's something called drug. We understand that. So until we get to that point where we have regulation, standardization, and all of that for agbo, I feel people should take agbo as poison. It's a poison because you don't know what you're taking. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, because I used to say I don't take my own life experiences.
Yeah.
I don't take it for granted, because I used to say, coming from where I come from and being able to be exposed to some things I've been exposed to, it just gives me a balance of both sides of the coin. So I think people go to agbo because of the cost implication of going to an hospital.
But when it then damages your kidney and you need 30 million, look at it. Okay, now let's do something. Your blood pressure is high. You go and meet Iyalagbo, right? Iyalagbo sells you whatever for like 2,000. I don't know how much those junks cost. Now she sells you agbo of 2,000. You keep taking it. Now you notice your leg is swelling, your face is swelling. You go back to her. She say, "Don't worry, there's a bubonishi." Then you go to a hospital. Then doctor now says, your kidney is bad, and you now need 30 million. Now, who is the bad person now?
So okay, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's going to, the money you don't want to spend, you end up spending.
Exactly, and prevention is actually cheaper than cure.
That's the major reason why you do what you do.
Yeah.
So I want to ask this: what's been your real intention about this?
Okay, my real intention first is I want people to be enlightened. I want NAFDAC to make a ban about it, and I need government to foster what I call research and standardized bodies, so that we can actually have bodies that would regulate and isolate, and we'll have like a protocol. This is this. That's what I want, and I want people to be aware of the dangers. Yeah.
But I saw someone tell you like these agbo people has associations and all.
Well, everybody will have association now. Shebi Fekomi too belong to one association. You said it now. So everybody, once like-minded people can come together, is an association. So yeah.
So you don't think the association is recognized? Okay, so they should have a recognized association. There should be a process towards
Even if they have a recognized association, they should be under a body where you can say this is because now.
So when these things happen, there's somebody to hold responsible.
Exactly. This is what is in your body. This is this. This is they should.
All right, that makes sense, and that will give them access to funding to be able to do what they are doing better.
Do in countries like China and Japan.
Yeah, to be able to do what they do better. Mm-hmm. All right, I think it's just important for us to be having these conversations, because that's the only way we can create these things we want to say. So since we are here talking about that, what's the cost implication of HIV fund being cut in Nigeria? Like, because when I was doing my research for this, I know there are 2.1% of people in Nigeria living with HIV. 2.1 million is actually the number, and that's 2.1% of our population. Okay. And I think that was done by UN last year, 2024. That was the report. So what is actually the implication for us now? Do you see the number skyrocketing, or do you think the number is incorrect?
Okay. I think the news broke out like some 2 days ago there about, and there was panic. And
on Twitter, panic? There were a lot of
there was panic because a huge project called the PEPFAR donates close to like 80 to 90%, because now the drug for HIV is totally free. You don't pay for it.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so they are free. You get free drugs, free testing, and all of that, and you have a lot of international organization grants that have been going into this. And first is, if that is stopped, what is going to happen? I think there has been a waiver because there was an update from the
there was an emergency waiver. I think that was yesterday night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're still going to be getting. But if it's totally stopped, now the implication is that if people are not able to get these free drugs, first is there'll be private capitalization on it. People will want to start selling it. Now, what's going to happen is that people that maybe have their viral load under control, they won't be able to afford the drugs, so there will be poor drug compliance, and we're going to have like more people have HIV because more people will still be engaging in sex, and then the virus can spread more. And also, I think for me, I think the best part of it is that it's a wake-up call. You cannot be dependent on your problems. If you look at the statistics, Africa has the highest amount, the numbers of people living with HIV. I don't understand why we cannot sit down, research, and make drugs. Why we are TB, we are the headquarters. Sickle cell, we are the headquarters. HIV, we are the headquarters. Malaria, we are the headquarters, and we cannot say we want to design this drug. So yeah, that's the implication. So, and if you have a lot of people not taking their drug because they can't afford it, we're going to have more children having HIV. We're going to have more people not getting their drug, and I think it's going to be a bad one. And I'm sure that Nigeria would not just wait. I'm sure they will also kick in and have stakeholders do something about it, because we never can tell after this waiver. They can say again we're stopping the funding. So we need to have a backup plan, and I believe they are going to be progressive to think that way.
I mean, thank you, Dr. Shino. Thank you for doing what you've done. Thank you for educating us on different levels this morning. But I'd like us to round up this with some few very tricky questions. Many doctors, like many of your colleagues, they shy away from what you do. They don't want to be in this space talking about the things you're talking about and being the face of the things you've been the face of. Why do you think they shy away from such? And do you regret not shying away from it?
Okay, one, because it's exhausting. You understand? I mean, it's exhausting to come and be arguing with people, telling them Agbo. Some people rather say, "Why am I arguing with you? Don't worry, take it."
Arguing with people that have no knowledge about what you're talking
when
about.
You get to hospital, you meet me there. Say you are stubborn. That's one way. But for me, it transcends that. Like I said, I've seen people, I've lost people personally to it. So it comes from a place of passion. And another thing is, I just feel maybe some people don't have time, and some people are not ready to engage in all that back and forth. And yes, and I just feel a lot of doctors just feel, I'm doing medicine. I don't want to be talking medicine or health online. Let me focus on banks, football, crypto. I think, I think if more people can get into this space, because there's a dearth of knowledge in Nigeria, we will have more conversations.
Yeah, more conversations like this. That is like just straight to the point.
I mean, how many doctors have you brought on this year?
No, you're the first person
exactly.
I'm speaking to. This season, we're actually trying to make it more relatable for people, not just personal story, what they do and how it connects to people. And thank you for doing this with me. Like, it's very educative for me on different level. But, I mean, we all know, like, what we do is what's going to make us famous, and is what is going to give us all the blessings. But I feel like there's always the dark side that comes with the fame. So, like, has it ever affected you personally, like this dark side of the fame, the problems that comes with it? Have it affected you or your personal relationship or anything since you started out? I think 5 years is a long time.
Okay, so dark side is when you are popular, you get into fights with popular people. You understand? Because when you're a nobody, they won't send you. But when you have a ground, if you give a take on anybody, they say, this boy man, Omati set me up. You understand?
Since you're talking about having fights with popular people, let's just talk about it now. Your fight with Odumodu, what really happened? Like, I was reading through your tweets yesterday. Like, I read a lot of your tweets yesterday. I can't really place where it all started from.
Okay.
What really happened?
What happened with Odumodu is, I don't have anything against Odumodu's person. I just had issues with his music, because as a young person and as someone that has seen what happens in psychiatry, make people go mad and all of that, I feel his music perpetuates. So what happened that day was, they said, which musician do you feel their music belongs in the trash? And I said I feel Odumodu's songs, because his songs perpetuate violence, drug use, which is not a lie. You can look at the song and all of that. And obviously he saw that, and then he started, he then insulted me back, and he was so immature with his insult, insulting my parents and all of that. And he was even talking about rape, what I said the song promotes. So he was even using rape as a joke. So you understand? So basically, I was just saying that his music, that was what happened, and it just went back and forth. And all these blogs, they just...
So basically, it was nothing personal. Looking at all our conversations today, it was just you caring deeply about where you're coming from.
It's the same thing I had with Olamide too, when he was promoting balloons. So he was going to release his Unruly album, and then I was like, no, Olamide, balloons, nitrous oxide. Hippies, right? Boys use that thing in the club, but people don't know the danger. It damages the brain, damages the nervous. And I said that, and obviously the thing went viral. But the good thing about that, you know what happened? After the next day, NDLA banned balloons in Nigeria.
Yeah, for a
So
while.
I was.
I think it's illegal now.
It's still
but
illegal.
Illegal, but yeah, I mean,
It's still illegal.
Yeah,
You understand?
not
But
for a while.
that's
yeah.
why I say, I mean, we can make a change with all of these things because a lot of people are dying in the hospital they don't know, and yeah.
But you see it like you see it firsthand, and
Exactly,
I
and
understand
that's why
why
I can
you
say
care so much
exactly,
on Twitter now. Why you
exactly.
attack all those things
Exactly, that's the
firsthand.
dark side. But obviously, people will just say you have a vendetta against
them.
I don't have a vendetta.
It's just you doing your job
It's just
and
me
they
just-
doing
and
their job
exactly,
too. See,
just
me, I try to understand, like, that's what I'm saying, like, as Nigerians, we need to understand that two truths, like, can coexist without being
We
wrong.
can't. See,
Like-
the same Odumodu that they are saying that, listen, when Odumodu had that stuff, the concert, I still sent him a message that, oh, sorry, I hope you're feeling fine. You know, I mean, I still sent him a, which means I don't have no
Did you
bad
reply?
blood. But I don't have any bad blood against him. It was all a conversation. Well, it went the bad way, but no love lost. You understand?
It's just you doing your job.
Exactly.
From
So
our
that,
conversation now, I can
I
actually
think
say-
that's the dark side. You know, and another dark side again. I think that another dark side for me initially was like I had like friends. You know, then friends would be like maybe some people were like, oh, you are chasing clouds. Like, you know, people sobbing you, and it was always disappointing. Like people from your circle that knew you, but I mean, those were the early days. So I think those were the dark side. But other than that, well, your privacy, you cannot. If you go somewhere, people know you, Dr. Shino, this, and but other than that, I don't think there has been so bad dark side to all of that.
All right, I think I'd like us to end this on this note. Like, the role of social media in health education is still being debated. Like, people still think what you do, what Aploco do, is still kind of wrong and dicey. It's not real medicine. So my own is just, where do you stand on drawing the line between responsible education and entertainment in the health education sector? Like, because I think it's a very dicey conversation. We need to find a way to balance it out.
Okay, I think people need to know that health education, the media, there's a space where they intertwine. Nigeria, there's a lot of misinformation out there. An average youth probably spends about 10 to 14 hours on their phone. And the only way people can bring this there and make it interesting for you is social media. So people should be ready to embrace, people should be ready to ask questions. Yeah, I know some people might be doing some of this content for cloud and misinforming the public. I belong to a world organization of influencers called the Fight This Network, and what we do is we fight misinformation. So people need to know that.
There are people like you that exist.
Yeah,
that want to share
I'm not mentioning names of people that maybe they are doing whatever they do, but I'm just saying that people should know that health education
is something serious.
Yeah, just the same way you go to the media to watch movies, cartoons, you can also learn about your health and take healthier decisions via health education. And I think people should be more open to the fact that this is people bringing the hospital to you on the social media space, and it's still part of health promotion and health awareness.
All right, thank you, Dr. Shino. I think this is
where we draw the curtain.
Yeah, because I mean, I've learned a lot about your person, why you care deeply about medicine, why you care deeply about people. I think it just comes from your own personal experience, practicing 8 years, and it speaks a lot about showing a side of you we've not really seen on Twitter. And it gives up a lot of understanding, because I feel anybody that watched this and go back to your Twitter will be able to make a lot of sense about why you say most of the things you say. And it means the world to me that you did this with us. We want you to leave a question that you wished you were asked. So we are going to be asking the next guest that question.